Take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real, actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more. But that is the engine, the Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. Let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefront's website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black, nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home, and our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Thank you very much, pre-recorded Taylor. So I want to get into the Q&A in just a second. And before I do that, I'd like to rant just briefly on this lovely Friday that we have going on. And, I see some familiar faces on here that have been on here a couple of shows, so they've heard me say some of these things. You'll have to just bear with me. I'll try to make them a little different, a little interesting. But I talk to hundreds of artists and photographers on a weekly basis, both customers and non-customers in sessions just like this. You do that for enough time over enough months and weeks, or weeks and months, you realize pattern recognition becomes a real thing. And I can say, as a blanket statement that 99% of the people on this call don't have a website problem. You just don't have a website problem. What does that mean? That means I don't care what website you're talking about on the internet, whether it's one of ours, whether it's someone else's. If you move your business there tomorrow, it is not going to make a substantive difference in how much art or photography you sell, because you don't have a website problem. You have a marketing problem. You have a traffic problem. You have an attention problem. What we tend to see on these calls are a whole lot of artists and photographers that have not validated their art, have not sold their art or photography to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends, because they would buy anything for you. They'd lay down an oncoming traffic for you. They love you. And then we have, another group that were overly reliant on sort of the offline revenue sources. And then the pandemic hit, and that's tended to kill the majority of those. What do I mean? Gallery sales, art shows, fairs. Perhaps you were in a co-op. You had some sort of other local way of selling your art. So there's sort of different problems at each stage of the game. And we can get into those, and I think we have some pretty good tactical advice, sort of no matter where you are on that pecking order. But I'd love to get into what you're struggling with in your business. Where is your business? Do you feel like your art has been validated? Did you have good offline revenue sources going on, and now you're trying to figure out how to make it in this current dumpster fire of a COVID world that we're living in? And what are the best strategies and tactics that you can employ to do that? And I think, big picture, I'm stoked you're here. I think it's a fantastic time to be taking the digital portion of your business more seriously. And there has never been a better opportunity. Believe it or not, art and photography sales have just been a tremendous, tremendous winner in this pandemic. They sort of fall into the overall home decor scenario, and basically everything in home decor has exploded since the pandemic hit. Continues to be the case. It's everything from outdoor furniture. I mean, I ordered a table from my backyard, and it's like an 18-week delivery because they just cannot even keep up with the demand. Everyone's in their house. Everyone's working from home more. You have a lot of people that are fleeing the cities to the suburbs, which means, smaller spaces to larger spaces, more white walls. You have people that are on Zoom calls that are looking at white walls, where before they were looking at those white walls for a very short period of the day, and they weren't motivated enough to do something about it. Now they are truly motivated enough to do something about it. And also, look, where could you buy art right now? Where can you buy art? You're not going to buy it at a fair or show. No one's going to them. You're likely not going to buy it at a gallery because very few people are randomly shopping anymore. The people that are shopping, are doing what's called sniper shopping. This is like the new retail phenomenon, whereas back in the day, an art gallery would be on a cool spot in Main Street, or it would be in a great spot in the mall, or take your pick, and it would benefit tremendously from foot traffic and random people walking in. Well, now, because of the pandemic situation, what most people are doing, the sniper shopping, is they figure out something that they need, they go to the store and they get it, they put their mask on, they buy it, they come out, and they do not stumble around into the other stores and look at things. And so the number of different things. One, the offline revenue sources don't look to be coming back anytime soon, certainly not at the strength that they were. More and more people are at home. Q4 is coming, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the Christmas buying season. So we believe that this Q4 will be probably the biggest in 10 or 15 years. Things were still pretty decent economically speaking prior to the pandemic, and people are not spending money on trips. They're not spending money on events. People are going out to dinner less. They're not going to bars, all of these various different things. And so disposable income is not being routed to the normal, more expensive venues, and more people are spending time in the home. So it's a whole bunch of different things converging at once. And I say all that to say, no matter where you are in your journey, no matter where you are in your level of marketing sophistication, we believe, getting in a position where you can get your art or photography able to be sold this Q4 is an extremely good idea. There's going to be, the sales numbers are going to blow everyone away. We've been seeing on our platform little bit over 4,000 artists and photographers, essentially Black Friday, Cyber Monday level of sales from last year since late March, since the pandemic hit, or maybe early April, somewhere around there. And it's just stayed that way, sustained. I mean, it's hard to believe that art and photography could be such a big winner out of this, but it continues to be the case. So on that note, I'm going to get into questions and answers. You can raise your hand, which is how I know you have a question in Zoom. I mean that the digital way, but you know, there's enough of you without a video camera that if you're one of the ones that just wants to raise the hand old school, you can do that. If you hate being on video, I totally get that too. You can leave a comment in the chat, and I can pick it up there. And then also too, we're streaming to a bunch of the social platforms at once because that's sort of what we do. And if you guys have questions in there, I'm happy to address those live as well. And we can get into a number of the different things, but be very, very curious to see, you know, where's your business? What are you struggling with? What is it that you think you need to be working on? Are you trying to figure out your niche? Do you want to talk about merchandising? Do you want to talk about live art shows and how they're probably the single solitary biggest disruptive factor that's ever happened in the art and photography industry, certainly in the last 25 years? We can get into that and talk about all those. So you can put questions in the chat, or you can raise your hand. Love to call on you. And I'm going to start with Tom. So let me find you. Okay, there, Tom. I got you. And I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Tom. And then I think I've got you already. You there?
Yes.
Hey, great. How's it going? Happy Friday.
Good. Good. You too. I have some logistical questions. I talked to Matt yesterday for a brief little chat, and I'm wondering about, he said Bay Photo is who you use for printing and that kind of thing.
We have two. We have one on the West Coast, which is Bay Photo, and then we have one.
He said that was the only one. So who's the other?
The other is a company called Graphic Dimensions. They're on the East Coast. I think they're in Georgia, but okay. Another huge company the size of Bay.
In any case, do they take care of drop shipping and that kind of thing to the customer? And how do returns work through those entities?
Yep. So I should say, just big picture so everyone knows, the answer is you can do any of the above, right? And let me just go through the various different scenarios. You can, I mean, if you're an artist that's just creating originals, then obviously you're going to be shipping the originals, right? If you're an artist or a photographer that really likes their local printer and has a great relationship and wants to use them, that's totally okay too. We call that self-fulfillment. So you would be responsible for shipping the orders. What we recommend is that you integrate with one of our print partners for a number of different reasons, primarily dealing with admin, boxing things, sending orders, any of the phone calls back and forth, or driving to UPS is not anything that's going to substantially grow your business, right? All of that is time, energy, and effort you should spend on marketing. So the way the integration works, and I might as well give you the whole thing, is you get your own merchant account through Stripe. It's pretty much what every e-commerce merchant uses. They're one of the biggest companies in the world right now. And an order comes in, the printer gets paid, you get paid, the order automatically goes to the printer ships it, boxes it, slaps your logo on the side of it. That's a new feature that we've added. So if you use Bay Photo, they print a logo that gets slapped right on the side of the box. It gets shipped to the customer. You don't touch a single solitary thing. What happens in the case of returns or damage, I should say, both cases. Number one, returns seem to be extremely, extremely low in our experience across the customer base. But if they do happen, they happen so infrequently that it's not like the whole part is automated. You kind of just deal with the customer, you deal with Bay. It's very non-time intensive. On damages, on when anything happens like that, it's the beauty of being integrated with a huge partner. They do so much volume that they just take care of it. They will usually just print and ship a new one and send it right out. Keep the old one, here's the new one, you're done. And even that happens extremely infrequently because they're pretty good, both of them, at boxing, shipping, printing.
Okay. Can items on the store and in our website be organized, categorized, tagged in any way, or is it just a big grid if they want to see everything at once?
No, you can of course organize it any which way you like.
And they can be tagged?
Yeah, we sort of, yeah, I mean, it's like the folder model, right? Whether you want to call them tags.
I mean, if I wanted to take black and white, versus color.
Yeah, of course.
And then the customer will just see those.
What we've sort of found, interestingly enough, is that a grid of images on the homepage usually leads to the lowest possible bounce rate. So we sort of have some best practices, which are If you've already been selling a bunch, you know what your best sellers are, right? If you don't, you make an educated guess. You throw all the best sellers on the homepage, so you've got your best stuff up front. No different than putting the hottest stuff in the store window, so that when people are walking by, they see it, and then you go from there. You can have your categories and drop downs as many as you like.
Okay. Is there a memory item count limit on the store as far as the things we put up there?
No, not that I mean, if there is,
Okay.
it's like 30,000 or something.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll defer other questions so that other people can get theirs in.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Okay, so I've got a question in the chat from Scott, and it's, I'm an interior designer who has accumulated over 50 pieces of artwork that is not being used. Also, I have clients that have artwork that is sitting and not being used. Is this a viable venue for selling fine art, multiples, originals, $50 to a $10,000 value? Yes, but. And the larger question is, like, it doesn't matter if you're the artist or if you're an interior designer or if you're the gallery owner. Yes, you can use our software to facilitate the sale online, and that's all well and good. But why I said earlier that no one has a website problem, no one has a website problem because you have an attention problem. Okay, you've got this art from your interior design work. Okay, you've got this art from clients. Somebody's going to have to do the marketing to drive the eyeballs and the traffic to the store. Like, yes, you could use our store to facilitate the sales if it was like a one-off, hey, Scott, I'm interested in some artwork. What do you have? And you could send them the website, and the website would take care of everything. That's easy enough. But if you're trying to build a business out of it, and you don't just have 50 pieces, you want to keep it going in perpetuity, then it would sort of be like, I'm going to open a restaurant on Main Street. Okay, well, you're going to have to work on the marketing and the word of mouth and get people to come back to that restaurant, right? Why would you want to close it after the fact? That you did all that work to build it up. You wouldn't. So I think, you sort of need to decide, Scott, if you want to make a business out of it and if you want to market it. Now, if you've got an interior design business and the interior design business is kind of rocking and you already have a name and they're coming to your website and you want to throw like store.scottberryinteriors onto it, then that makes sense to me, because you already have the traffic and the eyeballs, and you can literally tell every single solitary client you have coming in, oh, by the way, I'm constantly rotating in and out several different pieces of art as a result of the fact of staging houses and collecting and decorating, and you hammer your normal list of people that know who you are and how good you are. Well, then, yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me too. Again, you've got a big business. I might as well just unmute you, Scott. Do you if you want to talk, you can just hit the microphone thing, and you can kind of give me some more details if that helps. But you can use the chat too if you don't want to do that. It's up to you. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you have to build the business. I don't know if you're going to unmute or not, but well, if you do, you can put me in the chat. Adrian's asking on YouTube, is my email list to be uploaded through my ASF account, or do I need a separate account with Mailchimp linked to the instructions? So yeah, we recommend that our customers use Mailchimp. They're really good at what they do, and we integrate with them. So you would email up your contact list to the Art Storefront site, which is kind of like your main database, your main brain, and then it automatically uploads those emails to Mailchimp. So that's what they do. That's how that works. But pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I'd be curious on this call, how many of you guys are struggling with you don't know whether or not you truly validated your art. You don't know whether your art will truly sell. And then for those that do feel like they're well and truly validated, how many of you actually have physical inventory on hand that you can show in the various different media types of your work? Those are two of the biggest mistakes that I see made time and time again, and it's a bell that's very, very hard to unring. So maybe we can get into that in a second. Julian's asking, does ASF host a site, or does the artist upload software? If so, is there a host that you suggest? I have a WordPress website right now. So no, we are a hosted solution. So what happens is that you come in with a URL that you own, so the domain name that you own, and we give you a ready-to-go website, and you just point your domain at that website. You have to upload your images, but it's pretty straightforward. From the time of sign up until go live, we get most people live in 14 days or less, assuming you don't have big technological hurdles. And then you're up, you're running, and you're off and selling. So that's how we do that. All right, Wesley, what's up? You're back. What's your question, Wesley?
Hey, Patrick. I got a chicken egg problem, as you know.
Sure.
and listened to your podcast on conducting a contest.
Yes.
And excellent advice, I think. So I bit the bullet. I'm trying to set one up. And I realized, when I try to create these lookalike audiences or custom audiences in Facebook, I just don't have enough traffic yet.
Yeah.
Either customers or visitors to my page. And of course, your advice has been to run a contest to goose those numbers, and maybe I can finally get to the number that these algorithms will allow me to generate these lookalike audiences, custom audiences, so I can start doing some advertising that might actually work on Facebook and Instagram. So thank you for all of that advice. If anybody hasn't listened to this deep pool of podcasts that Patrick has put out there, they're excellent. They're very good.
I appreciate that, Wesley.
Okay, so my question though is, Facebook it seems to keep changing the rules on us, and I guess you know more about that than anybody because you have to deal with it probably on a regular and recurring basis. And the one I'm wondering about is when I get somebody to comment on my Facebook post and my chat bot kicks in and interacts with them and engages them to have them actually enter the contest, is it legal for me to then try to, I don't want to use the word lure, but suggest they click on a link in that chatbot reply that takes them to my website then, where then I also try to collect their email address. Now, because they've put in a comment and they're now entered in the contest that way, I now have their Facebook ID, which is huge. But it would be even better now because Messenger's seems kind of crippled now to actually capture their email address.
No, it's still really easy to capture their email address in Messenger. But what you're in way advanced land right now, Wesley. So I probably should give everyone else some context. So Facebook came out with what's called Facebook Messenger, which is their messaging platform. And early on, it showed just such an incredible amount of promise, because it's essentially a text message level relationship with your subscribers and your audience. Like bing, it hits your phone, right? It's so much better than an email, or it's literally like a text message. It's amazing. So it launched with incredible promise. Everyone started using it like email. Facebook's like, we cannot have Messenger turn into the new email. So they started moving the goalposts, as they often do. And it sort of killed a lot of the awesomeness, let's just say, of Messenger, which I think is a short-term thing that they needed to do. So I'm sort of off the gas on Messenger for the time being. I think it still holds some promise still, but it's going to be a while until things turn around there. So I'm not even recommending those contests, Wesley. Plus, they're really advanced. I sense, Wesley, that you're looking for this silver bullet hack, right? Or this next level thing that you can do. And you know what I'm going to say. There is no next level thing that you can do. You have to do the base. You have to do the basics, my friend. And it does not come easy. You have to consistently market for a year. So if I was your business partner, Wesley, and I was responsible for 50% of your business, I would say, we are going to take the next year and we are going to learn how to digitally market ourselves. So what does that mean? We're regularly going to be capturing emails. We're regularly going to be emailing those emails. We're going to be publishing on the socials on a regular basis. We're going to be conducting live art shows and having flash sales on video. And we are going to learn how to properly run a sale and the mechanics of a sale. And we are going to do that for a year. After that year is over, you can look at your sales. If you've made a decent amount of sales, then you're ready to enter the conversation about whether or not you're in a good position to do warm ads on Facebook and Instagram. But in between, all the rest of that stuff is noise and shiny objects. You cannot, I repeat, cannot shortcut having the basic marketing system in place. You have to have it. You have to have it. Everyone has it. I was speaking, and thank you, Wesley, for the question. You know I was going to light you up on that one a little bit. You gotta just stick to the basics. I was having I had I do like a twice weekly show, which you guys should totally subscribe to, by the way. It does go to the podcast, which is awesome. April will post a link to the YouTube channel in the chat. That's usually the best way to get it, but I call it the Art Business Morning Show. And, you know, every single solitary one of you that ever wants to sell art or photography again, or, you know, are going to be selling it for the rest of your life, you need to learn one basic tenet, right? Every digital merchant essentially today runs sales, okay? The only brands I know that don't run sales are, by the way, Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. If anyone has any other ideas about companies that don't run sales, let me know, but those are the only two I know. Everyone else runs sales. So what is a sale, essentially, right? A sale is a very, very simple mathematical equation, okay? Very simple. It is incentive, which comes in the form of a discount, plus scarcity. Scarcity just means the sale is going to end very soon. Both of those are to get humans to take action. It is those two elements combined times the attention. The attention is how many people you have on your email list, how many people you have on your social channels. If you have a snail mail list, fantastic. How many people are on your snail mail list? The attention you have. And that equation underpins every single solitary business, okay? So we're down here on the bottom rung, right? Because you guys are all solo entrepreneurs. You don't have huge attention. You're not the Kardashians with 375 million Instagram followers. Let's talk about the biggest of the big, right? At the very top of the pyramid is Amazon. What did Amazon just get done doing? Prime Day. What is Prime Day? What did it have? It had incentive. It had a whole bunch of deals on all these various different things, right? There was the incentive. It had scarcity. Prime Day was only going to be around for 48 hours. Okay, done. Those two. What was it multiplied by? Attention. Amazon, it turns out, has a tremendous amount of attention. Tremendous amount of attention. So it doesn't matter if it's Amazon or if it's us. We all need to learn the proper mechanics of a sale and how to properly execute them, and it never goes away. You're going to run multiple of them a year. How good you get at it times the attention you have is essentially the entire business. It's that simple. It's that simple. Yeah, Wesley brought up Tesla. I read Tesla in one of these articles, and sort of Tesla never has a sale either, but they kind of play weird games with their prices. Like Louis Vuitton, I don't think ever discounts anything. Like, and same with Tiffany's. They don't ever discount anything. I might be wrong about that. Don't tell my wife that I'm wrong about that. She'd be like, you should know. But okay, other questions. You know, the Facebook advertising is a weird one, and we can potentially go into that. But everybody thinks that like they can just come in and run ads on Facebook, and it's going to end up working out. 1, don't do that. 2, don't ever boost a post. 3, you cannot advertise on Facebook or Instagram until you have the basic marketing system in place. The analogy that I always give is we're both fishermen, and we both hire the same boat. And we both show up at the dock, and we jump on the boat, and we steam out to the fishing grounds. Your boat has one single line in it. My boat, I've got that same fishing line, as well as 6 other additional poles, as well as lobster pots, crab nets, kites, harpoons, anything else that you could possibly think of that catches fish, and you just have the fishing pole. And so you're going to steam all the way out to the ocean, which is a huge place. You're going to throw your one line in the water, which is your Facebook ads, and you're going to see, okay, is this going to work? It might work once if you got lucky, but it's not going to work consistently. Me, on the other hand, I have everything imaginable on my boat to catch home, to bring home seafood no matter what. If the fishing line isn't working, well, then maybe my crab nets are. If the crab nets aren't working, well, then maybe I'm harpooning swordfish on the front. And that system, all of that stuff on the fishing boat, is the proper marketing system. If you're not using the proper marketing system, you are never going to make Facebook ads pay. Full stop. Okay? Play the lotto. Go to your local liquor store and play the lotto, because that's how good your ads are making it. So that's what I would say. Cindy, you're up next, and then I'll see the questions in the chat. I'll get to those too. Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, it's Cinda. How you doing?
Oh, Cinda. I'm sorry. It looked like Cindy. How you doing, Cindy?
Good. How you doing, Patrick?
Good.
Good. So my question is, I'm an artist, an equine artist, portraiture artist. How many pieces should I have before I begin, do you think?
1.
1.
Yeah, 1. Straight up.
Really?
And we get this question all the time, right? And it's sort of one of these things that gets stuck in the artist's brain per se, and it stays stuck in the drain. And what what do I mean by that? You need to get that thing out of the drain to start taking some forward progress for the water to go down it, right? So what you say is, I'll just get started when I have 50 pieces or when I have 25 pieces, and the days turn into weeks, turn into months. There's no website up. You're not working on your marketing. You're just saying, when I get to my 25 pieces, you take what you have.
Yeah.
You take what you have, assuming you've validated your art. It sounds like you have. You've sold a bunch over the years. And you say, okay, I've got 3 good pieces. Wonderful. I'm going to launch with these 3 good pieces. Every new piece that I add to the store actually becomes a marketing moment. I'm going to start working on my marketing, which takes time, getting eyeballs to my site, and you get going. And that's it. So don't make it about how many pieces you have. Uh-oh, you muted yourself, I think. I don't know if you were done or no. I'm going to unmute you again. Cinda, were you done? There we go.
It wouldn't unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Yeah, it's there is like endemic in the artist and photographer community a couple of things. 1, perfectionism. 2, procrastination. Ever hear of any of those 3? Ever hear any of those 3? Right? Or those 2. Others are, I don't know what my niche is. How am I going to figure out what my niche is? I'll just get launched when I have my niche figured out. Others are, I just got to get this website looking perfect. Okay, I got to get this website looking exactly how I want it to look. And the days turn into weeks, turn into months. No forward steps in the business whatsoever. 0, right? And you by and large, I find that like artists and photographers usually, it's their first shot at their first time being an entrepreneur, right? Like maybe you have a day job and you've worked other jobs, but you've never run your own business. And you either learn these lessons the hard way, or you have to have someone tell you, right? Like you have to get launched immediately. You cannot wait for any of this other nonsense. The only thing that matters early on is that you get your art validated, i.e. it will sell to people, not name mom, dad, sister, brother, friends. Once that's done, you start in on your marketing in earnest, and there's no shortcut to doing it. It has to be done. The marketing has to be done. So waiting around, if I just get my artwork photographed, absolutely not. You do not need to get your artwork photographed. Who told you that nonsense? Take a picture of it with your iPhone, sell it. Let's say Julian bought it. I'd say, Julian, thank you so much for that order. I need you to wait a couple extra weeks on your print or your original. Here's why. I'm going to get it professionally photographed because I think it'll just take it up to the next level. I have good photos of it now, but not as good as I'm going to get. And then you run out and find someone to photograph it and you ship it off, right? You sold it. Hardest thing to do is sell the piece of artwork. Next hardest thing to do, everything else. Everything else is really easy once you get the sale. So that's what I would say. Okay, I'm going to go into the chat. If you guys have further questions, you can raise your hand too. Nisha says, so I'm getting the impression that this will help me how to effectively market my artwork. This is the skill that I'm lacking. This is the skill that 99 out of 100 artists is lacking, that all are lacking in, okay? We all need to be able to market our work in perpetuity, and that's just how it goes. I know that's, someone back in like the 16th century that was like the official court, Louis the 13th's official artist. Someone came up with the mantra that there exists in this world of ours as an artist, someone that's going to pay you to create, and you're not going to have to do anything else. You're going to have a wonderful life. Sadly, that's like Bigfoot. Everybody's heard about that. No one's ever seen him. No one's ever seen him. You want to build a decent art business? You have to work on your marketing. In today's day and age, that means working on your digital marketing. That sounds daunting. That sounds difficult. You know what's incredible about DTC business model, direct to consumer, i.e. your website, you sell direct to people. You get to keep all the customer information. It allows you to cultivate collectors. You're going to be able to sell to these folks in perpetuity. So there's no 50-50 split or 60-40 split. You're not reliant on someone else that can pull the rug out from underneath you, i.e. COVID hits. So that's a situation in which there's incredible upside, but you have to do the marketing work. So Nisha, to answer your question, all we do, everyone thinks that we're a website company. We are not a website company. We are a marketing, we are a full-blown art business university. What happens when you sign up is you pay a tuition fee for a university that never ends. It never ends. It will never end. It can't ever end. Number one, marketing changes. They're constantly moving the goalpost. Why? Because they're sadists. I can't stand Facebook and Instagram, but you got rules for today. Tomorrow there's going to be rules like this, and then it's going to move back over here. So you have to keep the education current, and it takes time to get good at it, and it takes time to get better at it. So we teach marketing all year long. Do we have a website solution? Yeah, but it's not enough. It's not enough for anybody. You know, everyone's trying to just go from website solution to website. Ooh, this sounds like the next new hot thing. I'm going to upload my art here and not have to do anything. Oh, that's not working anymore. I'm going to upload my art here and not have to do anything. Ooh, I'm going to spend $5,000 on a fancy WordPress site. None of it makes any changes to your business, does it? Because no one has a website problem. They have an attention problem. There's no marketplace that you can upload to where you're going to have a successful career. It doesn't exist, aside from like 2 people that get lucky for whatever reason. You have to build your own business. So that's what it is. And Tom's asking, like, the one-on-one marketing guidance is that we have in upwards of, I think we're up to like 7 or 10 different sessions that we're running a week like this, Zoom calls with our customers internally, teaching the various different things, getting them unstuck. We have tech support ones. We have what's called office hours, which is twice a week. We have advanced office hours, which is if you're over a certain dollar amount threshold, which all we do is teach marketing in a group format like this. We'll bring someone on that is very good at one of our particular marketing techniques. They will do Q&A. I'll teach the various different thing, whatever it is. I'll teach you how to do a live art show. A bunch of people will go out and do a live art show. They'll come back in. The people that had great success, I'll say, here's what I did. You can ask them questions. You ask us questions, and it's on a bi-weekly basis. The big office hours ones. Well, we have a bunch of other smaller ones too. We have an onboarding workshop. We have a marketing launch workshop. We're essentially moving as a business, art storefronts, and this is a crazy thing to think. What is I say this always in the context of what is the best way to sell art online, but it also works for us for a business. We are moving towards a business that is open live video sessions like we're on right now from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 5 days a week. That's where we're going, straight up, full stop. And there's a reason, because if you need to teach somebody something, there is the wonderful model of, hey, here's some incredible online education. Go at your own pace, learn it, and do it. The problem is no one ever finishes that stuff because you can't do it. It's like learning in a vacuum, right? You need one-on-one direct guidance and coaching. And it's like, I could send you to read a blog post or read a podcast or do any of that nonsense. And it's not nonsense, it's great. But and maybe you would learn the thing, but it would take you a week. I can pull you into one of these Zoom sessions and teach you in an hour. And then you can tell me all the reasons why you don't want to do it. And I can snatch all those away from you and say, that's all nonsense. And say, no, here's how you do it. And in 1 hour, instead of 1 week, I've got you taking forward substantive steps in your business, which is a big deal. Taylor, are you on? Can you grab Philip's question? I got a vet calling me that I got to deal with.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Give
Taylor.
me a second to get set up.
This will just take me 2 minutes and I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem. Hey everyone, Taylor here from marketing team working with Patrick. I'll fill in real quick to hear about Philip's question. Hey Philip.
Okay, so
I'd like to understand how do you do the signature and the limited edition print if you're doing the prints?
Yeah, so you can remain connected to auto fulfillment for open edition prints. That's all hands off, just automatically goes out, shows up. You don't touch the thing, you just get the money in the account. The limited edition side is a little more complicated because it does need to get to you. So you can sign it, number it, whatever else you like to do, handwritten note, all that stuff. So how that works is that it comes to you first. You have to carefully open it, do what you do with it, and then you have to send it out to the final destination. So a little bit more labor intensive to do those. That's why the price is higher, of course.
Yeah. All right. Good question. Okay. That'd be it.
Hey, Wesley, you're up next.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey there. It's Taylor here.
Not Patrick. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Patrick took a break.
That's right.
Actually, why I raised my hand, because he's always so mean to me. So no,
Yeah,
I'm
try me
kidding.
out.
No, you're always nicer. But this is a follow-up question. I understand what Patrick's saying. Everybody, I'm sure there's some others like me. I'm just starting out and don't have much of a social following. And a lot of the stuff I want to do, requires a bigger email list, bigger following on Facebook, bigger following on Instagram. I'm really fighting that steep curve. So this idea of doing a live broadcast, I really like that. I'm not the most appealing person to do it. I think I might grab my daughter. She would probably be somebody who would be more interesting for people to listen, talk about my art. And she's a bit of an art historian already. In any event, you guys seem to be able to broadcast on all of the different live media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The other one is Zoom. I mean, those are the three big four right now, right? How do you guys do that? Do you have a single service that sets that up if I wanted to do either a live art show or a flash sale?
Just so you're the IT guy.
Yes, we use the service we use is called StreamYard. That's a tool anyone can use. It's a paid service, but that allows you to connect multiple social accounts and broadcast to all of them simultaneously. Unfortunately, Instagram is excluded from that. So to conquer that, we just go live on Instagram separately, like on a phone, while all the rest is live from a computer. But I will say, if you haven't gone live before, even that whole thing can be a little bit of a rabbit hole. You've got to get the new profile going on StreamYard, connect all your accounts, test how it functions, how it works when you're live. So I wouldn't even recommend it. We don't recommend that to our members even until they have become really veterans of going live, because there's a lot to get through, a lot to get used to about just appearing on camera, talking about the work, starting the live stream, ending the live stream, keeping up with the chat, what to do with the video afterwards. There's like a couple months worth of things to kind of get your head around, get used to, get good at, before I think it's worth it to also pull off simulcasting around the entire internet. So I'd recommend just pulling out your phone, loading up a social profile, whichever one you have more followers on at the moment, Instagram, Facebook, go live there, do a couple minute stream, start really small. Don't set a huge like art show goal for yourself. Just go live to talk about like one piece, quick story, 5 minutes, you're in and you're out. Those types of wins I think are important to stack up first, because if you build up that first live stream too big, you have an itinerary, it's going to be 30 minutes of an art show and it's going to be simulcast. Surely many things will go wrong, as it is required in order to get used to any new technology. And those things going wrong will really freak you out. I've seen it with our members a lot, because you've put so much anticipation into this big first stream. Instead, you want to set your expectations on like, even if this totally gets screwed up, who cares? Because I barely put anything into this. It's going to be 5 minutes of my time. I think that's where your head should be at, in terms of setting yourself up for success and to be happy with your progress, as opposed to setting yourself up to make some mistakes that I think everyone makes, and maybe get burned out on the whole thing, right? Too disappointed. I can't believe I spent so much time setting it up and the audio didn't work, or no one could hear me and stuff like that. So just for longevity of that tactic, I always recommend taking it as small as possible and just getting used to it, doing more and more. And then stepping up to, okay, maybe now I look at what StreamYard is about, now that I feel really comfortable doing it.
That sounds like good advice. Let me ask you, if I just did Instagram, which is probably the place where I have the biggest social following right now, obviously I can save it there and repost it. And then can I then save that same video to YouTube and Facebook? Is the format compatible across these others? So if I wanted to repost it?
Yeah, you can. So what happens is that you save it, and thank you, Taylor. You're good to go. I appreciate you covering for me. You save it to IGTV, and in the same step, you save it to your phone. Once it's on your phone, you can then upload it to wherever you need, and it's the same post, it's the same format. So that's how that goes. And you know what else I would say too is like, I love my job, because everything that I say and everything that I do, I'm not one of these guys that says like ride your bike to save the environment, and then 2 weeks later gets on a private jet. They're caught getting on a private jet. It's like, you hypocrite, right? Like, everything that we teach, we are doing ourselves on a regular basis. I went and summed up the numbers. Since the pandemic hit, I've done over 295 live broadcasts. Why? Because I see it as the future. I see it as the absolute future, and I need to know it better than anyone else, because there's an arbitrage there. And it's the same thing I teach my customers. My customers will come on to the Zoom session, and they'll be like, Hey, Patrick, that was wonderful. I mean, I was so nervous. I couldn't even believe it. The video is flipped. The lighting was terrible. My kid came running in. I spilt a glass of red wine. But you're right. I survived it. I did it. And I actually sold a piece. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Now go do 1,000 of them. Now go do 1,000 of them, because they are the future of how art and photography is sold. And the point of that little rant was like, I'm living it. I'm doing this on a daily basis myself. I'm not trying to teach from some book or from some guru or because I bought some course. I mean, this thing right now is live on Facebook. We are in this Zoom session together. It's live on Facebook. It's live on YouTube. It's live on Twitter. I got to get LinkedIn set up just because I haven't had the time yet. So we believe very strongly that it's the future of selling art and photography online, straight up, full stop. Okay, it's going to be Cinda, then Jim Willis. Go ahead, Cinda. You're back. Another question? Are you there, Cinda? You'll need to unmute again. Yep, I see your hand too, Jeffrey. Okay, Cinda can't figure it out. We're going to go to Jim Willis. Go ahead, Jim. Oh, you need to unmute too, Jim. I'll let you know when you get it. Microphone icon, bottom left. Yep, you got it.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey.
We talked some time ago, and I can't get away from you guys. I keep listening and trying to read between the lines and so on. And if you recall, you talked to so many people you don't recall, I'm sure, but I'm 78 years old, retired, always been in sales. I picked up painting about 3 years ago. I've sold a number of paintings, and I really want to get involved, but I'm limited, actuarially speaking. I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to live. And I know what you're talking about is absolutely true because I've done it all my life.
Yeah.
But I have not, this might jog your memory. I lost my entire email list when the computer blew up.
Yeah, I remember now.
And what I've done is in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've increased my Facebook friends to about 1,300 now.
Nice.
And where would I go from there? Is it possible to utilize these Facebook people and get the email? Is most of it done with email, or is posting on Facebook? What's the reality?
Yeah, it's sort of all of it. I mean, I think so. One, people are living a whole heck of a lot longer. That's number one. I think it needs to be said. Number two, I hope too. Number two, you know, as you look at growing this business, the fact that you're already on Facebook and the fact that you're talking about an email list tells me you have the technical acumen to make it happen if you want to. But what I would say is, if you started kicking butt on this business and really growing it and really getting it going, would you want to hand the business off to someone else at the end of it? Is it worth? No,
not likely.
None of your kids would want to grab the mantle and keep running with it.
They all have their own businesses.
Yeah, got it. So, but I think that's an important question to ask, right? Because, you know, anybody that's ever started companies knows the dirty little secret. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes 3 to 5 years to build anything of value in today's day and age. And all the 3 to 5 years does is get you in the zone where things start getting easier, right? And then years 5 to 7 is when you really start picking up steam. And then like 9 to 12 or 13 is when you really start making significant amounts of money if you've got a good business going on. So, you know, no one ever likes to talk about the perspective of how long it takes. And so I think you need to do some soul searching in terms of, I mean, do you need this money? Do you really want this money? Do you like the thought of growing the business? Is it like going to keep your mind engaged and keep you rolling? Because my fear, you like the challenge. Because my only fear, and I think it's a legitimate question, is, you know, let's say you're going to run out of gas on this thing in 3 years. Well, I think you need to be realistic about that. Or 5 years, right? Like, be realistic about that. Now, if you love the challenge and that's going to keep you motivated and going, awesome. But, you know, I would hate to see you kick butt on this business and really grind it out and do incredible and then grow it to 5 years and then it starts picking up the steam and then you're like, okay, I'm done with it, right? Like, you just did all the hardest work. It's like you spent 5 years building the mansion and you're only going to live in it for 6 months, right? Like, I don't want to see that level of ROI for you, right? And whether, you know,
some people be tickled to live in a mansion for 6 months.
I love your attitude. I really do.
It is positive. I will say that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
My life.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge, and that's what I'm after.
Yeah, I'm enraptured by it. I love it. Yeah, I would say, like, you could, build the great business just on Facebook, okay? and you get a Venmo or you get a PayPal account, and you constantly post on Facebook and do the live broadcast on Facebook and show up the pieces and talk about them and sell them as you create them, and just do it that way, right? Like, you try to do it as low friction as possible. And I'm really hoping that this terrible dumpster fire of COVID goes away and we can get back to the good old days where, you could potentially have a booth or a show somewhere, and you could potentially paint for a couple of months and then go into the booth and show off all the pieces and sell them and have one day sale, and then do it again in 3 months. Like, that's the easiest way to sell art, right? Like, the digital has a learning curve and everything else. But I love the fact that you're willing to work it. I really do.
Well, I've got 60 pieces on ArtPal,
Mm-hmm.
and I get 500 to 1,000 views a week on them.
Yeah.
But no sales come from it.
I know.
And I'm not surprised.
I know. Everyone thinks that, like, the way art or photography is sold is somebody sees a beautiful image and they're like, I must have it, right? I must have it. I'm just going to buy that image. And it's just not how it goes. They want to know who the artist is. They want to know what your story is. They want to see you bleed a little bit, right? They want to know that you're a human being just like them. They potentially want to talk to you in a live broadcast and get bonded to who you are as a person. And then they end up buying. And the purchase is some blend, yes, of the work and the quality, of course, but also who the artist is, right? Like, the people that we have that are doing these single solitary best on the platform, all of them, to an individual, is really, really good at being the personality that they are and showing it online. They just are. And that's what humans are bonded to, right? Like, you want to feel like the person, like, so that's a huge part of it. And so it's one of those things that makes it really difficult for, the big mass marketplaces where you upload your images, and also you upload your images to those things, and, you're instantaneously really close neighbors with 100,000 other images. Right? Like, how the heck are they going to find you? How are they going to find you? They're not going to find you.
Some 1,000 artists on there.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. So it's a tough scenario.
But all I want to do is sell them. I don't care how much money I make. I want the sales.
Yeah.
That's what motivates me. It's the way.
Yeah.
As a salesman, that's what motivates you.
No, I love it. I think you should have live art shows in your house and show the pieces 10 to 15 at a time. Use nothing more than your cell phone. Do you have a cell phone? Yep. Use nothing more than your cell phone and go live on that Facebook page. It's pretty easy.
Using those 1,300 or 5,000, whatever you think could make it work that way?
Yeah. I mean, I would literally. So here's what I would do. I'm going to get my little stack together because I think this is an important illustration. Okay. Picture my phone is in front of me on a little stand. It could be standing up against a bookcase. It could be anything. All you have to do is Google how to go live on Facebook with your phone, okay? Google will have a nice, succinct tutorial on how to do that. You turn it on and you say, and by the way, you can do this within 30 minutes of you getting off this call, okay? 30 minutes of getting off this call, Jim. There's nothing to stop you. Hey guys, happy Friday. It's Jim Willis. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. Looking forward to an incredible weekend. I decided to have a spur of the moment art sale. I have about 300 pieces in my inventory, and I need to start clearing them out. I just don't have the space in my house. So what I wanted to do was just go through them one by one, talk about them, talk about the motivation that it took. And guys, no reasonable offer is going to be refused. All you have to do is just leave me a comment here on Facebook, leave me a way to get in touch with you, and we'll make a deal. And then show each piece, hold it up to the cell phone. And by the way, the cell phone cameras are phenomenal. They're even better than webcams. Talk about it. Talk about the inspiration. This photo was actually from my honeymoon. We went to Positano, and I stayed in this incredible hotel with this view. This is the main church in the city square. Beautiful. Fun fact about Positano that you probably don't know is that the city council mandates that every one of these houses stay the same color. They're never allowed to change the... True story, by the way. Never allowed to change the color of their houses without city council approval, and probably never. So you can paint that. You can repaint that house right there peach anytime you like, as long as the color is peach. So that's that one. I would normally sell something like this for $375, but make me an offer. No reasonable offer is refused. Maybe you need an early Christmas gift. That one was on metal. This particular one's on acrylic. I'm actually a double threat. I'm a photographer and a painter. This is autumn leaves. I did such and such. Here's how I created it. It's printed on acrylic. It's framed and ready to hang. This is one of 8. I'll sign the back of it for you. I normally sell something like this for $700. And go through it and do it today. Do it today without leaving that office with that same background. And you even have someone that can help you out because I saw someone moving around in the background. Do that. And I would do that every 2 weeks. And to be honest with you, your overall age and attitude and how incredibly positive a human being you are, I would probably tune in just to feel good. So my guess is that you're going to be selling smart, Jim. And I want you to do it. Honestly, I want you to do it this weekend. You don't have to do it today if you've got some things going on. Just get 5 to 7 pieces, okay, that are smaller, because to be honest with you, when you're doing this on the cell phone video, it's hard. Don't do your big dogs. Do your small guys and just have a sale. Have a sale. Do it today.
Question.
Yeah.
If I post that to Facebook, will that go out to all the friends? Is that correct?
No, it won't go out to all the friends, but some portion of the friends will see it, yes.
And that's because Facebook is limiting the...
Yes, they throttle it, but they really like live video, and so they'll give your live video some extra prominence.
Okay. I appreciate it. It gives me some things to work with.
Yes, and will you email me if you do it? Because I want to see it. And if you have any questions on how to do it, just write down my email. It's patrick@artstorefronts.com, PATRICK. Send me an email and just say, hey, Patrick, it's Jim. I'm stuck on this part of it, and I'll get you unstuck.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
A lot of help.
Yeah. I mean, can we just talk about the context, by the way? Like, I'm 41, and if I was an artist or a photographer, I look at my life and it's like, I'm going to be Jim's age and still have this business. I'm going to have this business 30 years from now, 35 years from now. Look at the context of a business that you own and can operate and still sell 35 years later. That's insane. You take the perspective of how long it's going to take to get this thing up off the ground and moving. If it's 3 to 5 years and 7 years, and you're going to have it for 35 years, that's insane to me. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's like one of the greatest things about being an artist or a photographer. It's like you're not going to grow out of it. You love it. It's your passion. You're going to have this business for your entire life. So it gives you the context to know, like, if I start working on it now in earnest, look where I could potentially be in my 70s or 80s. Still I'm giving a septuagenarian advice on how to go live on Facebook and sell his art. That's insane to me. I love that. I mean, it honestly just gets me fired up. All right, Philip, you're up. Go ahead. Are you there, Philip? You'll need to unmute your mic.
Yes, I am.
Gotcha.
How are we doing?
Good. How you doing?
What if my time restrictions, I can't catch the meetings, but at 1 o'clock that you put out, are they all recorded? I can get to them.
Yes, everything's recorded.
Format?
Yeah, and too, we're in the situation now where we're starting to add more and more and more of them, and we're moving the time slots a little bit. That's number one. Number two, like, this is so cool. I mean, I can say this. It's not really inside baseball, but we're taking like insanely diligent notes now, because sometimes the sessions will go like on a really short one. It'll be like an hour and a half, but depending, sometimes we're presenting something and we're not doing the QA. So sometimes they'll go hour and a half to like 3 hours, and you're not going to be able to attend every one, not everybody, right? Like 80% of our customers are full-time jobs anyway, right? In the art of the photography hustles aside, or they're working photographers in the service business and trying to sell fine art. So we take these like extensive notes. So like on a 3-hour session, the table of contents on the video will have like 60 different entries in it. So you just come after the fact, you scan the table of contents and you're like, ooh, that interests me. And boom, you click it, takes you to that part of the video, you watch it, right? So the really good ones too, like my team and I will like pound the drum. Like, you missed this one. This is mandatory viewing. You have to see this. You have to see this. And so we'll direct you like that. And you could submit your questions ahead of time. But we are, I don't know if you heard me say earlier, but I'm not kidding. We are going to be a 9 to 5 business to start out with. We actually have our first one on Saturday, going this Saturday, where you can come in on Saturday and get tech help for 3 hours. And we have somebody in the room on the Zoom session, ready to do the screen share, ready to look at your site. I honestly believe, like, over the next, call it 3 to 5 years, that every single solitary digital business is going to realize the best business to have is a retail business where someone can walk in, look in your eyes, have a real conversation, right? So we're just moving to a business where 9 to 5, we're going to be open. You come in, you get live teaching, you get unstuck, whatever you're stuck on, you explain what your individual issue is. And also it's never just one-to-one, right? It's like always one-to-many. We get a lot of people that like come on, to these, what we call the session office hours, the Tuesday, Thursday one, the one myself and my team does. We get people that come on and just listen for the 2 to 3 hours. And the feedback is overwhelming. Like, it's just so positive, because instead of all the nonsense that you hear out there in like photography and artist land, this is like real people with real businesses getting real results, having all the same damn problems that you guys do, that we all do. And like, it really just, it's just amazing, like learning in this type of atmosphere and environment. I mean, it's phenomenal. So I hope that answered your question. One, there'll be sessions for you.
Yeah.
Two, very easy to get on the office hours. But I love where your head's at, because,
Well,
and
you got to utilize what you're saying. If
oh, you
don't
have to.
utilize it,
You have to. And
but I don't want to miss it too,
for sure. And it's not just, and this is sort of the thing that blew me away. Like, I get the teaching, right? Like, the stats on the go it on your own teaching is terrible. It's like 25%, 30% of the people that buy the courses, how to run Facebook ads for artists, right? 30% of the people finish those things, because it's just not the way to learn, right? So obviously this face-to-face teaching is way better, but there's another kicker in it, right? And, anyone that's owned businesses for any period of time, and I had to go on this big rant about this yesterday, it's an emotional roller coaster, okay? There are ups, there are downs, there are highs, there are lows. One day, and I shared this tweet the other day because it was so funny, and it was like, some guy that's in the startup community, and the tweet said, like, 6:50 a.m., I am now looking and thinking about which friends' couches I can sleep on after this business fails. 3:30, and then 3:30 p.m. the same day, just got the biggest deal signed in the history of this company, our first deal. I am now contemplating what color the Ferrari is going to be, right? And despite the hyperbole, it's so true. Like, the highs and lows are insane, right? And why do I bring all that up? When you're plugged into the community of all of these people going through the same thing that you are, when you're down in the depths, somebody just had their biggest win, and we just, it's the rising tide that lifts all boats. You get into the community and everyone is fighting for the same goal that you are. And like, you see someone that has like no technical sophistication, that's like as old as Jim, that just did their first live video. And you're like, okay, what the hell am I making excuses for? If that guy did it, I can do it.
Exactly.
Right?
I've had a very successful art school for the last 20 years.
Ooh.
And COVID comes in and wipes it out in a heartbeat.
Have you thought about taking that digital?
I have. I'm in the process of doing that now, but now I saw your stuff, and it interests me very much, and I want to shift gears too. And
yeah, and you know what I would say too is, like,
helping so many people for so long, it's time to help myself.
Oh, you better believe it. But what I would say in your situation is, everyone thinks that, we're selling website software, right? I don't give a damn about the software. Okay, no one does. We are in the success business. Our business explodes art storefronts if we make our customers successful. So we have some customers that it's 90-10. 90% of their business is service and 10% of their business is fine art, right? It doesn't matter. It's still marketing. It's still marketing, right? We have some that are selling a tremendous amount of digital courses, okay? The digital painting teaching, essentially, right? That are kicking butt with that, 40, 50,000 a pop doing it, okay? It's all the same marketing, right? It's so hard, to find any one revenue source that's actually working and working well. Once you have one, you got to squeeze it as hard as you can. So if you came on board, I would be like, all right, Philip, we need to have a separate conversation. One, here's the tech stack that you need, okay? Here's the tech stack that you need. I already know how to do this. I know how to go live on every single solitary social platform at the same time, where you can give away portions of those courses of what you teach. And oh, guess what, by the way? You can get rid of the stupid rent that you have, probably teach all of these classes live and digital, and by the way, sell them worldwide. So you might have a hell of a business there on your hands there, and I would start there. And yes, I would, also have another leg of the stool, which is your fine art business. But if you had a huge business like that over the years, and you have name recognition and email lists, and they know you, you got something on your hands there. You just need the tech piece to sort out the in between. So do not ignore that, Philip. Honestly, that could
give me your email one more time.
That could be your whale. It's Patrick@artstorefronts.com.
All righty. Well, I think. It's the start of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, I am so. I mean, you hear the passion in my voice, and it's not bullshit.
I
right?
do.
Like,
I mean, you make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, I honestly believe that selling art and photography one-on-one, okay? One-to-one, just like I was doing, right? With the finished product, by the way, which no artist or photographer ever does this. Like, if I asked every single solitary artist or photographer on this call, do you have your work on the 6 most important media types? How many would be able to raise their hand right now? They wouldn't. Fine art paper, 2 different kinds, okay? A watercolor paper, a smooth photographic paper, okay? Canvas, acrylic, metal, and wood. 6 different media types that you could show right now, that I could show in about 2 seconds, okay? And that I could merchandise and talk about. How many artists and photographers have that? None. So what does the live video force you to do? It forces you to actually merchandise your stuff for the first time in your life, right? So we have artists that are really like kicking butt, okay? Massively kicking butt in almost all of their sales, because their pieces are well above, call it $5,000 to $25,000. Almost every one of their sales is live video now, face to face, because they want to talk to the artist, they want to bond with the artist, they want to know that they're getting a good deal, they want to do a little negotiation. But what an incredible way to sell, right? So it doesn't matter if you're doing the live video one-to-one or one-to-many. It's you. There's no hand in your pocket. It's a direct-to-consumer sale. You keep all the contact information. You're able to market to this person in perpetuity, right? And you look at your, and I contrast that with, yes, being in galleries and taking a 50% haircut, but also loading all your stuff up in the car, drive into wherever the booth is, paying the booth fees, 8 hours a day on your feet, staying in a crappy hotel, eating crappy meals, coming back gassed on Sunday, you lose Monday, and then you're back at your business on Tuesday. Contrasted to, I could be in my pajamas right now. I just turned the phone on and I'm talking about it, right? Like and I could do 3 in the time that it took me to drive and get set up and load all that crap in my car. And very few people are truly wrapping their head around how big of an opportunity that is. It is mind-boggling. And in your case, teaching the education, like my buddy, and this is a terrible excuse to use, and I don't want anyone to internalize this as normal, okay? This guy's very successful at what he does. He's been a longtime friend of mine and guy at the company, and he's been grinding on his marketing independent. Like, he owes all of his success to everyone not named us, okay? Guy with the painting behind me. He had all of this excess inventory in his basement. I mean, he's got a big Instagram following, a big Facebook following, and a big YouTube following. And he has what's called his basement sale, okay, which are all these older pieces that he had, like, sitting in his, like, basement shed or whatever. He lives in Canada, and he has this huge sale, okay, and he sells 62 pieces, $30,000 Canadian worth of art in 15 days. Here's the thing that was amazing about it, which is not to say it wasn't amazing, the sales. Multiple pieces shipped to Canada, multiple pieces shipped to the United States, multiple pieces shipped to the UK, 3 or 4 to Germany, 3 or 4 to South America, and a couple in East Asia as well. And you just look at that and you're like, okay.
Worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide distribution. Okay, the shipping is not as big of a pain in the butt as you think it is, number 1. Number 2, no 50-50 split. Number 3, he's in his garage studio. He didn't go anywhere. Do you know his total investment in equipment was for that show is like $350, like the AirPods and some stupid light on the top of his computer, right? And I look at that and it's like, you have a business, the potential for a business, and this particularly applies to you because the teaching, the potential for a business with worldwide distribution, with no overhead or rent of some big building or big, school facility where whatever the heck you had on Main Street or wherever it was, you could potentially do it in your garage, or you could build something in your house. Anyway, the larger point is it could be way out of town. It doesn't matter where it is geographically located. It could be cheap. And then you can sell those classes worldwide instead of people that are geographically fixed. Like, that's a heck of a breakthrough. That is a massive disruption. I am more bullish on the live art selling than anything I've ever seen. And I think it applies as equally as it does for our business, like going live essentially 9 to 5, where our customers come in and get whatever they want. I mean, we have a whole bunch of customers that are on this session leaving me comments on Facebook right now. They're just watching because they find it inspirational too. Like, it's a phenomenal way to interact. So anyway, that was a long-winded rant, but that's what I got for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. I would say you can send me an email. I would say as a final, we realize that COVID's on. We realize that things are scary and they're tight. So we're having a pre-Black Friday sale right now, which is one of the biggest sales that we've ever run. And if you get a demo request in, April will put the link in the chat. we can still get you up and running and taking credit cards and working on your first sale for Q4, which is really where we want all of you guys to be. And for some reason that's not in the cards to you, I still want you to take a shot and try to get something done this Q4, because I think it's just going to be, I think it's just going to be absolutely tremendous. But unless anyone else has questions, likely just leave it there. Yeah, cool, Nisha. Love to hear that. Yeah, I'm fired up about the live video. You guys, I mean, you can hear it, but it's not going away. And it's going to be a major part of what we're teaching our customers, how to execute on every single solitary sale between now and Christmas, which, the opportunities are going to abound. So I think on that note, guys, thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging around. Thanks, Familiar Faces, for popping back on again. I find that insanely flattering that you'd want to hear me rant and rave again. And thanks, Taylor. And everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks again. Bye now.